Hey everyone, and welcome to Calculus, the online version. Um, so the setup of this course is going to be a little different from what you've seen, uh, unless you've taken an online class before. But even then, it'll probably be a little bit different. So uh, let me go ahead and introduce myself. For those of you who have not had me or seen me around campus before, I'm Dr. Barnes, and so I'll be teaching you over the course of the next, oh Lord, like 6 weeks. Because of the time crunch, uh, it's going to be a very cramped, very intensive course on calculus, meaning that the workload each week is going to be substantial. So I just want to make that clear up front rather than have you surprised down the road. There are going to be times where you are going to be doing a lot of calculus every week. And that's just how it's going to have to be to fit everything you will need to know and need to learn and practice within a 6 week interval. So, a couple things about the course organization. If you are watching this video, that means you successfully found where I keep the videos. So, every week I will post a video that is less of a lecture and more of an introduction to whatever topic we're looking at. So today I'll post this video, and I'll also post a video on this week's work, which is limits. And so I'll talk a little bit about that in the next video, exactly what those are and how we can think of those. And those videos won't have definitions, they won't really have examples in the same sense that you would expect if you were to show up to class. What you are looking at more in those videos is just what are we going to look at this week, how does it all fit together, what are some of the high points you need to watch out for, what are some tips for learning this material. So think of it more like a mathematical coaching session more than an actual lecture in that sense. There's also two other sections in our course. One is going to be a written version of what I'm going to call, somewhat cornily, the weekly success guide. And so for a weekly success guide, it's going to give you some organizational help with how to structure dealing with the different sections, kind of what you should do, things to look out for. So the one this week is pretty generic, mostly because I want everyone to get used to this concept of an online course and kind of how this is going to be structured. But in general, that is where you will go as kind of a checklist of what you need to do each week. Now, the checklist is going to be fairly similar each week, given that all of the assignments will be posted today on Wednesdays, and they will be due the following Tuesday at 11:59. So you should be able to get everything done with the week, and the way I've kind of broken this course down is a week-by-week basis. So if you complete a week, everything should be self-contained within that, with the exception of the tests, which will happen every 2 weeks. All of our assignments are going to be done on WebAssign, which is kind of a necessary evil when it comes to an online course. So the first thing I want you to do after watching this video, I guess, is to go onto WebAssign. So you can just type in webassign.net. I'm pretty sure webassign.com redirects. You can just type in WebAssign into Google and do that. Those of you who have seen WebAssign before, you know how this process goes. If you haven't, there's going to be a place for you to sign up for a course, or a place that says like Enter Class Key or Enroll in Course or something of that nature. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to enter the class key, which is in the syllabus. So it's a 8-digit number broken up into two 4-digit numbers, preceded by SHC. And so you're going to enter that in. That's going to enroll you in the actual course that is this course, that is us and our course, that's going to have all the assignments you need. Everything will be done through there. So once you do that, you'll have access to the homework, you'll have access to the quizzes, you'll have access to the tests, and there will be more information about the tests upcoming. But what you can expect is every Wednesday, a homework and a quiz will be posted. For the homework, it is less of a evaluation tool and more of a learning tool. And what I mean by that are there are ways that I can figure out what you know, and there are ways that I can help you learn the things you need to know. The tests and the quizzes help me figure out what you know. The homework helps me teach you, especially in a setting like this where we have to do it online, what you need to know. And so you can read all of this in the syllabus, but the basic gist is on the test and the quizzes, I expect you to use a scientific calculator and nothing else. So no notes, no friends, no internet, nothing like that. Now, obviously, I can't police you for that, so this is very much going to be an honor system kind of thing, and I need you guys to be willing to work with me and understand that I need to evaluate what you know on those tests and quizzes, and I need you to be honest with how you take them. And if I do happen to find some evidence that you were using something else, I will rain unending hellfire upon you in your academic career, but I don't think that'll happen. So I'm not too worried about that. I think you guys should be fine with that. Now, on the homework, on the other hand, anything is fair game. And that means you can use the things I've posted in Schoology. So the different links, I have links to something called Paul's Online Math Notes, which is a professor from Lamar University who does a very good job of explaining these topics. There's also Khan Academy. Also, I've linked to YouTube, which I figure every one of you knows how to get to YouTube, but just so you know, it's a tool that you can use. I went ahead and linked it. If you are having trouble with something, let's say limits at infinity, which is a thing you'll run across this week, you can literally just go to YouTube and type in limits at infinity, and you will get a bunch of videos that will pop up and help you deal with these limits. And so that is a really, really good tool, not only in an online course, but also just in a regular lecture-based math course. So that's something you should definitely take advantage of. There are a lot of people who've put a lot of time into explaining that with very good examples. And so if you're having trouble reading over the material and you kind of want to see some examples worked out, of course you can talk to me and we can set up something for an office hours kind of thing, or you can go to YouTube. As far as office hours go, they're going to be by appointment, and with that, depending on where you are, there may be opportunity for us to actually meet at my office on campus. And if that's the case, that's great, and we can work on problems there, and I can explain things there. If not, if you are out of town, if you live somewhere else, we can also set up something over Skype or FaceTime. Those things are fine as well, and I'll be happy to help you out over that. You can always email me, and generally I'll get back within about 24 hours. Usually sooner, but I don't know, occasionally I get busy or have other things and don't see it immediately. So if I don't email you back immediately, that's fine. I don't hate you. Just know that I probably looked at it and was busy with something else and then forgot about it. So don't be afraid to send me a second email and remind me, like, hey, just making sure you saw my first email. I'm not going to be offended at all. So that is, as far as I can think of it, pretty much all of the things you will need to know for this course. one thing that is very important is that you are going to have to be a self-starter on this. You are going to have to find a schedule, something that works for you, that you can give adequate time to this material. This is not going to be an easy course. Calculus in itself is a challenging topic, primarily because it makes you think differently from how you thought in your mathematical past. So it will take a while to get used to, both the mathematics and the setup of the course. So if it seems weird at first, that's okay. But what I'd recommend doing is right now, sit down, try and write out a routine as to when you are going to look at this material, when you are going to start working on the homework, when you are going to take the quiz, various things like that. The homework, like I said, use anything you want. Your goal on the homework is to learn the material. And so if you want to Google the problems, I do not care. What I ask of you is that when you Google the problems, you make sure you understand why they got the answer they did, how they got the answer they did, and that you can replicate it on your own, because that's going to be important come quiz and test time. You will have, I think it's something like 20 tries for the homework, so you have a lot of wiggle room with trial and error, because again, I just want you to learn the stuff. For the quizzes, the way the quizzes are going to work, they're also online. You will have 10 attempts to take the quiz, but you have to take the entire quiz at once, meaning you take the quiz in one sitting, one time, and then you submit it, you'll get a score back, and then you can take it again up to 10 times, and your best score will count. So the quizzes are a nice way for you to see what you know and what you don't know, kind of in a more forgiving environment than the tests. So try and treat those like mini tests, right? Do exactly what you would do on a test, take it in the same place, but know that you have a lot of tries there, you have a lot of leeway, and so that's a good way to practice for the test without affecting your grade too much. Other than that, I think that's basically it. So stay tuned for a second video today that will help you get into the world of limits. And as always, check WebAssign for your homework. Check WebAssign for your quizzes. Check Schoology and our weekly guide for what you need to do this week. This first week is going to be 2.2 through 2.6 in our textbook. Now, you don't have to buy a hard copy of the textbook. You have an ebook that comes with your WebAssign. So once you log into that, you'll have access to the ebook. So don't feel like you have to buy a paper copy unless you want to. But otherwise, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is listed in the syllabus. You can also just Google it, but it's mbarnes@shc.edu, and you can send me an email there, and I'll be happy to help out. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to the course. This is somewhat of a new experience for me. I'm sure this is a new experience for you, and so hopefully this works out well. And we make it through at the end 6 weeks later with a lot more mathematical ability. But other than that, I will talk to you soon.